Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. I'm Stephanie Fisher. I'm a licensed counselor here in the state of Michigan, and I am owner and operator of In Progress Counseling. I think over the next couple weeks here, I'm going to practice languaging pieces of the kind of educational underpinnings of my dissertation. I'm noticing, just because I'm immersed in defense mechanisms right now, it's coming up in a lot of my client work. It's a really cool piece of psychoeducation that I get to invite others into. And so really the purpose of practicing it here, number one, I think it's really valuable information and really insightful for both interpersonal and intrapersonal experiences. So intra means what's going on inside of me, and interpersonal means what's going on between me and someone else. And defense mechanisms are a really cool lens where I get to better understand my story based on how I'm responding to whatever the context, environment, or stimuli actually is. And so what a defense mechanism does is it's this involuntary kind of automatic response that shows up in a moment, really unprovoked by volition. It's not something I'm trying to do. It's this intrapsychic process that's going on inside of me that allows me to protect or defend myself, try to bring me back to homeostasis, try to mitigate distress, try to get me out of something that might feel psychologically very unsettling, distressing, disturbing. And so as we go through, maybe it's going to be weeks and weeks of videos on defensive functioning and defense mechanisms. One of the reasons I find it to be such a valuable piece of framework for clients and in my own story and in my student work, which is where this particular dissertation project will be housed, what's so neat about it is it tells me so much about myself. And when I go directly to the defense, I can work on deciding how do I want to disrupt, or the word you'll hear me use quite often is how do I want to mature that defense if it's disproportionately being used. So the tenor of this particular video is my defenses are my responsibility. Really, part of it is my defenses tell me the stories about myself. It actually helps me understand the stories I'm telling myself. So let's say, as an example, I wear a winter coat in summer. Well, that, at least here in West Michigan, is too much protection. But let's say I wear a t-shirt and shorts. Well, that's a pretty appropriate amount of protection most days. Let's say I decide not to wear clothes, and I guess that's an optional lifestyle, but let's say I decide not to wear clothes, but the sun is beating down and it's really, let's say there's a lot of flies buzzing around, and now I've got no protection on me for this antagonistic thing that's happening. That's not enough protection. So what happens with defense mechanisms is we look at, is it the appropriate amount of protection? Is it the developmentally appropriate strategy to be using? We're not upset that they're there. We're actually going to, number one, experience relief that we have these built-in mechanistic processes that help to protect us. But we want to see if they're protecting us to the right degree and if they're developmentally appropriate. And so our defenses are our responsibilities. If I'm overprotecting or I'm not protecting enough based on the context that I'm in, that's valuable information, and it's very therapeutically relevant. We get to look at that as a very specific phenomenon, and we can say, what is it that I want to do when I understand to what degree am I protecting and what does this context actually require of me? And so as we go through these videos, I'm going to try to language it, number one, because I need the practice doing that. I need to, as I go do my proposal defense and as I write up dissertation and write my projects and disseminate the findings, I'm going to have to practice languaging it again and again. So this is a really cool place to do it. But number two, there was this research study not long ago that was talking about if I use a clinical intervention on a defense, and if I just bring someone's defense to their level of awareness and we name it, it looks like even just naming it can have more advantage than if I'm, as a clinician, trying to disrupt it without the client being aware of it. So maybe I keep circling about it again and again, and I keep pointing to it, and I keep, wanting to mature it and mold it. Well, it actually seems like if I go right to it and say, hey, I'm hearing you project again. Projection is where we take something going on inside of us and we thrust it onto the other person. What do we want to do instead about that? So when I bring someone's awareness right to the defense it, we name it, we investigate it, we explore it, we increase their self-awareness, then we can start to mold and mature it. That's a really cool set of opportunities once we elucidate a particular defense. And so that's why I'm really excited about it. It has a lot of clinical relevance. It's something that I get to, invite my clients into. It's something we get to point at and say, hey, these are they are involuntary intrapsychic processes, but we can see them, we can track them, and we can mature them, which is really cool. So that's going to be over the next maybe weeks, if not months, because I really have to practice languaging them. And our defenses are our responsibilities, and also our defenses help us understand our own stories. It's a really cool little piece of investigation that we get to do. And over the weeks here, I'll break it down and give different defense mechanisms names, name the processes, and talk even about how can we go about maturing them when we realize that these might be the strategies that we're using.